Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to a addendum off of Travis's Musings, episode 4. There were some requests from some individuals in the group that wanted to have a little more in-depth discussion concerning myself and the other admins' strategies going into 2020. And so this should be a pretty short video, but I'm going to kind of go through and show what our strategies are looking like heading forward and where they are going to have their divergent points, which will also be known as when I take the lead. So let's go ahead and we will hop on over there. Okay, so you can see here, I've got my own strategy, 85-425, and Matt, Jaron, and Larry also benchmarked against me. And just so everybody can kind of see, Matt's strategy is 86-104. Jaron's strategy is 84-373, and Larry's strategy is 79-629. So my own strategy, Jaron's strategy, and Larry's strategy are all really similar. As you'll see below when we look at the trading day comparison, there's only a couple of days that we really deviate, notably being January 1st when I'm in the S and they're both in the I. But again, as I kind of discussed in the other video, Matt's strategy is 100% equities, and I think that's a really valid strat for anybody who's wanting to maybe kind of tread that line between buy and hold and seasonality. You kind of get the best of both worlds there, and I think it's a really good way to continue to beat the market. And of course it's not as flashy as some of these other strategies, but I think it's a little more risk adverse. And so if you're looking for something that's a little safer, something for your toes to dip in, I think Matt's strategy is not getting as much press as it should. Take a look at it. You can kind of see I took a look at it a little more in depth in the episode of episode number 4. But there's a ton of people who are new and they're not really sure if they want to be this risky, and I think Matt's strategy is a fantastic option for that. Getting back to my own, Jaron's and Larry's, you can see down here, we spend about 60% of the time in stocks. I like to be at or over actual 60%. So this is a little outside my comfort zone, but the strategy is pretty good, and it's performed historically very well. You can kind of note, we've kind of started to evaluate some additional seasonal tendencies. This strategy has returned 38.17% year to date. And it wasn't even in there for the January, for over half of the January leap up. It missed 6% in January. So you can see it did really well across the board through the rest of the year. And when we scroll down here, the trading day comparison is pretty easy to see the differences. So obviously January 1st is big. And we have to come all the way down here to June to get the first big differentiation between myself, Jaron, and Larry. Again, I'm not really talking about Matt here because he's all equities all year round. And I'm going to be in the G fund for that large chunk of June, and Jaron and Larry are going to be in the F. And then in July, Larry takes a hard left turn and spends, looks like, about 8 days there in the I fund while Jaron and I are hanging out in the F. And again, just like we are in right now, they go ahead and swap to the I fund for the Santa Claus rally, and hopefully tomorrow and Tuesday don't end up biting me and giving Jaron the lead after I've been in first place since February. So anyways, those are kind of the strategies that we've got going forward this year. There's a lot to like about them, and to be honest, there's a lot of really similar strategies that are really good. I mean, you could probably come up with 1,000 strategies that maybe 0.01% better here and there, and at some point you just got to pick a strategy and go with it. I think that you can get a little bit of paralysis by analysis when you're looking at the seasonal strategies. I mean, I think we've got 81 or 82,000 strategies in the database, and commonly we see people ask, well, why are you choosing this strategy versus this one? This one's got a little better mean and a little more time in stocks and so forth. And it's like, look, at some point, I decided that this was the strategy I was going to go with. And sure, that one might be in one more day, S in August, and one, it's in F for 2 days in February, and it's like, okay, you can start getting that nitpicky and whatnot, and eventually I think that those strategies will eventually come to the top and so forth. But for now, this is the horse I've kind of decided on for 2020, and I'm hoping I can follow it. Just like I did 57 171, I'm pretty proud of myself for following that strategy almost to the letter. Like I've noted before, I had that one deviation in February just kind of being funny, going to F instead of G or vice versa, for like 3 days. And other than that, I've followed this thing 100% the entirety of the year, and it's paid off. So anyways, guys, if you guys have further questions, or you wanted to see something different, let me know, and we can kind of get into discussing that. So thanks, guys, and go Hawks.